Good morning, and thank you very much for joining me again today, 1 February 2020. And today I've got a topic that is going to make other people very, very jealous. This is because Zimbabwe politicians have scored millions, if not billions, in US dollars after the Supreme Court in Zimbabwe around the 20th of January ruled that if you owed money in US dollars, so let's say you owed 1 million before the RTGS dollar came into effect, and then the Zimbabwe government put in RTGS dollars, now you only have to pay that money in bond notes. So if you owed $1 million US dollars, that same amount is now worth less than, let's say, 50,000 US dollars. So you've effectively, in 1 year, made a profit of over 25 times just by borrowing money and not paying it back. This is perfect, especially for the Zimbabweans politicians who don't pay their debts. And these people are not just in ZANU-PF. In Zimbabwe, politicians don't pay. Simple. So if you look at people in the MDC, people in ZANU-PF, members of G40, they have one thing in common. They borrow money and they don't pay it back. They have to be taken to court, and when you get to court, they drag the case as long as possible so that by the time they have to pay, they know that the Zimbabwe dollar has lost value. They only pay a little bit. You'll be surprised who is on this list. People like Jonathan Moyo, Grace Mugabe, Nelson Chamisa, let's see here, Superman Dwanziria, Leo Mugabe. Okay, let's go through the amounts. I think I want to show you how much money we're talking about here. People have scored big, and this comes from a ruling from the Supreme Court. This was because of a case between Zambezi Gas and Baba. So Zambezi Gas owed money to Baba because of a court ruling, and they said they took the case to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that they only had to pay the same amount in bond because the government had put in place a law of 1:1. So Mthuli Ncube has come and he has totally destroyed some people, because what this means is if you give money to somebody and this person insists on paying it in bond, they are doing something legal. It is in the law for them to do that. And so let me give you a list. The list we have here is from people that borrowed money from CBZ. CBZ is being looted by politicians. I don't know how they give these huge amounts of monies and then they fail to collect them. They have to take them for collection. And guess who is collecting? Tendai Beat's law firm. This is the guy who's doing the collection. So everyone benefits. The people that borrow, the people that chase after the debts, and the people that don't have to pay in US dollars. And the list we have here, I've got with me a list of 26 people. I'm going to quickly run through the interesting names so that you can see the extent of this thing. Imagine the people that are not on this list, that are not being chased by CBZ. The real big fish, how much do they owe? Now, let's look at Joycelyn Chiwenga. She owes 900,000 US dollars. And now, you have to divide this money by 25. That's all she has to pay. Douglas Nyikayaramba, 135,000. Then we've got this guy called Lynette Udenge, Samuel Undenge, 350,000. Ignatius Chombo, $500,000. Divide that by 25, and I think he only has to pay $20,000 after borrowing $500,000. Douglas Mahia, $75,000. Christopher Mchangwa, $650,000. Now look at the big one, Gideon Gono. This guy used to be a CEO there at CBZ. He owes $2 million, but now you only have to divide this by 25, and he's going to pay less than $150,000 out of this $2 million. Grace Mugabe, $4.5 million. Professor Jonathan Moyo, $200,000. Superman Wanzira, $400,000. Leo Mugabe, $300,000. Mendichi Mene, $100,000. Emerson Mnangagwa Jr., $400,000. Hepiton Bonyongwe, $300,000. Olivia Mchena, $200,000. Didmas Mtasa, $375,000. You remember this guy, I think he was in Zimbabwe People First and he left and was having issues with his debts. He couldn't pay. Now he's going to be able to pay because all he has to do is to divide this money by 25, put it in his bank account and transfer back to CBZ and his debt is done. Temba Mliswa, this guy, he is owing $350,000. But now, all he has to do is to divide the money by 25. Joseph Chinotimba, $100,000. Where does Joseph Chinotimba get collateral to receive a loan for $100,000? Job Scholar, very suspicious. How does Job Scholar end up in this list? $100,000. Abigail Chuhuri, $500,000. Obed Mpov, $1.3 million. But all he has to do now is to divide by 25. I think he's going to pay less than approximately $100,000. I don't think he's going to pay a lot. And if he stays longer, he'll pay even less. Edna Mazongwe, $650,000. Mebo Shinomona, $88,000. So I've read for you a very, very interesting list. You know, a few months ago, we talked about Nelson Chamisa and Charlton Wende, their company, or CBZ, $100,000. Now, if you divide by 25, Charlton Wende and Nelson Chamisa, all they have to do is to take that $4,000, change it at the black market, put it in their bank account, and transfer back to CBZ, and their debt is cleared. This is magic. Guys, I find it very interesting what happens in Zimbabwe. The economy is not going to recover at this rate. The politicians in Zimbabwe, they are a cartel. They work together for their own interests. You will never see politicians wanting things to change in Zimbabwe. Who would want things to change? The currency to be strong, if you can have this kind of benefit. The guys in the United States, South Africa, you know that if you borrow 1 million, it will take you a lifetime to pay. But here is somebody borrowing $2 million, $4 million. And these same people, after a few months, they just pay back. 1 divided by 25. Divide that money by 25 that they borrowed. You can just even borrow 100,000 and put 10,000 aside, knowing that in a year's time, you'll be able to pay back everything and remain with the profit, the benefit of what you've done. This is how the Zimbabwe economy is getting destroyed. Our politicians and the decisions that they make, irrational and totally damaging to the economy. So this is what I wanted to show you today. What I'm going to do is today, later on, I'm going to bring someone that knows a lot about these things. Why do our politicians make such decisions? What is the impact? What are the ramifications of what we're seeing now? Billions and billions of money is borrowed by politicians from a bank that is connected to the state, and they don't have to pay a lot. Are they deliberately crashing the economy so that they can benefit from such a thing? Is the judiciary somehow involved in this, or it was really a ruling? Who is Nbaba? Who is Zambezi Gas? Very, very interesting questions, and we're going to be unpacking that as we go during the day. Very, very interesting case. I find this to be totally ridiculous that a country can have such laws. People can lose money and banks can be robbed like this. This is robbery. If you're a shareholder in a bank, you have just been robbed. Right. Thank you very much for watching. And as I said, we'll be back much later on. I want to give you a coronavirus update this weekend. I'll see what we'll do how we'll do it. I think I'll do it later on tonight. It is now in Botswana. So, very, very soon, it will be in Zimbabwe. You're going to have a coronavirus update in Zimbabwe because Botswana have got ways of checking. Does Zimbabwe have ways of checking for coronavirus? Right, thank you very much for watching. Please, if you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please comment, like, and share.